have been focused on decluttering and living a more simplified life for 3 years now. So what have I learned? In today's video, I'm gonna answer that. Let's do it. You must have a donation box, whether this be in your garage, at the top of your stairs, at the bottom of your stairs, by your back door, wherever, that doesn't matter. Having a donation box will encourage you to declutter more frequently. There have been times where I have totally forgotten to put out my donation box. I have decluttered less in those times, and I just love how simple it is and how it's a visual cue to continue to be a clutter gatekeeper, to watch for clutter around your house and keep the momentum going. Be so picky about what you store. For a while, especially at the beginning of my journey, I just thought, oh, if I'm not sure if I'm ready to declutter it, I'll just store it. And I did this enough times to where I actually just relocated my clutter to the basement. My basement became full of bins and boxes of things I was just kind of thinking about. So I have learned that it's best to not store your clutter if possible. If this is the only way you can get started, cut your stuff in half, store half of it until you're ready. But if you can be really aware of what exactly is in your storage bins, it really helps you make more progress. The thing about storage spaces is they're forgotten spaces, and that's just the reality. Whether this is your garage, your attic, your basement, or under your bed, these are forgotten spaces. Know what's in these forgotten spaces. Know what's in your storage, and try and cut back on the things that you actually put in there. This is where things go to die, to get broken, to become completely obsolete, and I don't think that's very helpful. Going along with that, I've really learned that we tend to use what is visible. So like the donation bin, when it's visible, we use it. Most Americans use only about 20% of what's in their home, which is unbelievable. 80% is not being used or utilized or cared about. That's our cue that we can get rid of quite a large amount in our home and not end up missing it. I think that is one of the biggest problems and hurdles of decluttering is you're afraid that you're going to need the item later. That was my biggest hurdle. I felt so worried that if I get rid of it, later I'm gonna regret it. Generally, you don't. Once you get rid of the item, you're just free and you don't actually regret it. I've regretted a couple things. I am not gonna stand here and say I've never regretted it at all. No, there's been a couple things that I'm like, wow, I really wish I hadn't decluttered that. In fact, I'm trying to remember, there was one recently. I honestly can't remember what it was at the moment, which goes to show, this is proving my point. I'll let you know down below if I remember. It has been so few and far between, and for the vast majority, I just feel freedom from getting out from underneath clutter. So that is one lesson I learned, is you really only use what's visible for the most part, and you can pretty guilt-free get rid of this stuff. You don't have to worry that you're gonna miss it, because even if you miss it for a minute, you're gonna forget about it. At this point, I have gone through my entire house more than once and decluttered pretty much every single area. I'm actually on a mission to do that again in 2023, as it has been a while since I have focused on my master list and gone through every single nook, cranny, and drawer. But there are 3 specific areas that have definitely benefited me the most having decluttered and simplified. Those areas are, number 1, the kitchen pantry. I've talked about this so much, so I don't want to go into tons of detail, but my goodness, I am in the pantry multiple times a day. Therefore, having it simplified makes my life so much easier. Secondly, my closet, another area that I am in every single day as I get ready and get dressed. Thirdly, the kids' toys. Slashing the kids' toys, cutting things down to more classic toys that I know they play with. Ooh, it has made such a big difference. My kids have played better. It has taken so much pressure off to keep everything clean. It's taken the pressure off my kids. There's just less to manage, less to clean up, and then more creativity. It is a win-win all around. When is the best time to declutter? Well, I recommend decluttering throughout the year, throughout the week even, but after 3 years of experience, I have decided that the very best times to make a big declutter are before the holidays and before a birthday. Holidays and birthdays are really distinct and easy landmarks in your schedule that just remind you. It's like having a visual cue, but it's in your planner. It's a landmark in your routine, your schedule, your year. So these are really fantastic times to make a big declutter, a huge pass through your house, especially focusing on the kids' areas like the kids' clothes and the toys. Another lesson I learned is that you do not by any means have to live in a bare, a sterile, a cold space to completely reap the benefits of decluttering. When my family and I did our initial purge and declutter 3 years ago, we got rid of 85% of our possessions, but we in no way sacrificed comfort and coziness. You do not have to give it up. It is not all or nothing. You do not have to strip down to the bare bones to reap the benefits. Decluttering more naturally motivates you to buy less. And I think that is such a worthy goal, especially as we're worried about inflation and times feel a little bit tight. Any mental shift that helps you from spending money needlessly, I think is a win. Something else I've learned is that decluttering does not mean that you will have a totally stress-free life. You will never have to clean again. You'll never have to declutter again. You will just have this perfectly easy breezy life. No, that's not true. But it does definitely help you scale back and simplify your routines and your schedule. I realized that you have to constantly be focused on re-decluttering areas of your home. I love breaking my house into categories and areas and having a master list. So this is 2 tips. Have a master list. I will have one linked in the description box for you down below. I love breaking this into weekly, monthly, and every 6-month tasks. Going back and visiting this list and decluttering and re-decluttering areas of your home is so essential, because whether we think it's happening or not, we generally have things coming into our home. Stuff from school, kids' birthday parties, holidays, anything that we might have replaced in our home and then forgotten to get rid of the old one. I mean, there are a million different ways clutter can kind of creep back into our home slowly without us really noticing it. Keep referring back to this master list and focus on re-decluttering these areas of your home every week, every month, every 6 months. I love this next one. This has been one of my favorites, along with feeling so much less stressed and having a more simplified schedule and cleaning less often. There are so many benefits, but I love that it forces you, decluttering, simplifying, getting rid of the excess in your life, forces you to hone in on your personal style, your personal goals, and what you envision for yourself and your family for the future. Something else I've learned that I think is really important to remember, that decluttering is always work, no matter what. No matter whether you've been doing it for 2 weeks or 10 years, decluttering will always be your time, your energy, your mental and emotional capacity. It will never not be work. However, it does get easier as you build these decluttering muscles, as you learn to let things go more easily and you don't have so much guilt associated or worry that you're gonna miss these items in the future. You really are training yourself to be able to do this faster and with less mental and physical energy, but it will always be work. It will always take time. I have a playlist here on the screen. If you want to click it, it will take you to more videos just like this one. I will meet you over there.